Jarrett Lau here with Profitable Properties Boston. We specialize in helping investors across the Northeast, Greater Boston, New Hampshire areas find profitable investment properties. In today's video, I'm going to be explaining how I built a custom GPT to be able to help me analyze deals quicker. In the past, my team and I have spent countless hours trying to analyze deals and figure out numbers, double checking things. And now with ChatGPT and AI, it allows us to be able to do this 100 times faster, get more deals under agreement quicker, and just double check and make sure that the numbers are right, as well as run through a ton of different scenarios to be able to try to make a deal work. So without further ado, I'm going to show you my Keene Property Pro. So I like to buy a lot of properties in that Keene, New Hampshire area, and what it does is it helps me analyze things. So I'll show you and dig in under the hood what I did. So when you make a custom GPT, what you're going to do is you're going to give it a name and you're going to have a description. So expert in Keene, New Hampshire real estate investing and financial strategies. Then you're going to give it instructions. And I will send you this if you want to just type in, a different area for yours. Happy to copy and paste it and provide it to you. So I'll read it to you that you are an expert real estate investor with deep practical knowledge of investment properties, especially in the Keene, New Hampshire market. You provide guidance tailored to both beginner and experienced investors looking to evaluate, purchase, manage, or sell income-producing properties. You offer market insights, pricing trends, rental yields, cap rates, cash-on-cash, return analysis, and financial strategies, including mortgage options and creative deal structuring. You analyze deals with a focus on long-term ROI and local market factors. You help users make financially sound decisions based on data, market nuances, and strategic goals. You can assess property listings, break down numbers, compare neighborhoods, and provide advice on growth opportunities within the region. You always give direct, no-nonsense insight. Avoid vague language or generic advice. If specific data is requested, such as recent multifamily sales or rental listings, you'll search up-to-date information to provide timely, actionable context. Your advice is driven by real numbers and trends to help users maximize their returns. So your tone balance is clear, analytical insights with a conversational style. You speak with authority, but also with a bit of local flavor, like a seasoned investor who knows the ins and outs of Keene and isn't afraid to tell it as is. So this instruction gives really, really, really good feedback as far as that goes. And then it has some conversation starters, such as like, what's a good rental yield? Can you analyze this deal? How do I finance an investment property duplex in New Hampshire? What's the current cap rate trends in Keene? And then I will build out some knowledge bases, and I'm happy to provide these for you guys. But I've built out pro formas, I've given sample deals and ultimate guides to, buying investment properties. And you guys can upload anything else that might be specific to yours. So once you have that, you're going to go ahead and update that. All right, so let's go ahead and view that GPT. And what will end up happening here is we can now work with this and let's analyze a deal. So if I have a deal, let's say, please review the 101 Main Street deal. So this is a deal that I had before, talked about before. And you can see some of the history that I've done, and it will be able to search that knowledge base for us. So it's going to get into it. All right. So it's going to tell you the different ways that it might analyze it, pro forma calculations, right? And usually what I'll do is I'll provide a specific, address to the property. So I'll pull up a property that we have later on. All right, great. So now that we have that bottom line, they gave some context about how it's going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look up a real deal that we got off market, and let's just say that we have this 36 Dover Street, right? So, this deal from a rent and sale price perspective, owner wants $475. Right? Doesn't actually say the rents. Right, and then we're gonna have to assume. So, it's assume it is a 4-bed, 2-bed, 2-family. So let's go ahead, and it's gonna break it down. So, units or kitchen, it might have a certain amount. It's good, not luxury, and it's going to give that total market conservative $4,000 a month, right? And if you rent it by the room to students, which they do up there, and then we have that low vacancy. So it might have like a net scheduled income. It might have assumptions like taxes, insurance. You can look this type of stuff up. Maintenance 8 to 10%, utilities, management, right? So you can see that it takes some really good numbers in, and it gives you that NOI. And then at that purchase price, they're going to say, okay, he wants 475. I have an NOI, net operating income of 31,000, and divide that out, you get 6.5 contacts, right? So let's just keep looking at this deal. So it's in that range, right? So it's solid. If I'm self-managing, the cap close increases to about 7%, right? So we're just looking at now comparable sales, right? Key final thoughts. All right, no repairs, downside if it isn't, bottom line. If it's a fierce deal, and I agree, this is a fair deal. I personally don't think I'd buy for it, right? If you can get closer to 450, try to negotiate, but at asking, you're not overpaying, right? But again, my big thing is that I know my numbers. I made another video about this, but we make a database of Keene, and you can see that the average price per sold for a multifamily is about 400, and the average per unit is about 158. So this deal doesn't really work for me, but it is nice to be able to have something where I can literally type in a little bit of address, some pricing about it, and it can do a rental comp for me, can help analyze the deal, and I can even talk higher on and say things like, what's the cash on cash and IRR return, right? These are just other ways for it to be able to do it, right? And it can just continue to provide different types of return-based numbers for me to analyze, right? And then I can change it if the price is a certain amount, making assumptions based on different interest rates and whatnot. So really huge. This is how I will use ChatGPT, make a custom GPT to be able to help me analyze deals in a specific area with my criteria and knowledge. And you can train it to be able to be better and better as it learns more how you think and act. If you or anyone else you know is an investor looking for a real estate agent to be able to help them analyze the deals quickly and efficiently, feel free to reach out. I'd love to help you find your next investment property.